Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Copy That Converts workshop. And I'm curious how many of you attended the session that I ran at the summit. Just raise your hands so I can understand your familiarity with what we're going to go through. And Medina, did you go to the summit one? No problem if you didn't. I just want to get an understanding of your level of familiarity with what we're going to go through. All right, cool. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to walk you through the strategy of getting more people to sign up for your virtual events and then to show up, because getting them to sign up is half the battle, but the other half is get them to show up. And I'm going to walk you through the strategy and tactics, as I said, and then I have some email templates for you, and I'll walk you through them more at a more reasonable pace than at the summit. At the summit, we were racing. And then I'm going to actually have you do the work of writing your material. Okay? Now, you may not write every single email sequence because there's a lot to it, a lot of sequences. There's probably, if you did it in the ideal world, you would have probably around 15 to 18 emails that would go out. Not to everybody, right? But to certain segments of your audience. All right, as you'll see. So let me start. Let me show you my slides here, and we'll get going. And of course, post questions along the way in the Q&A. All right, so Copy That Converts. Now, you may think that we're talking about totally copywriting. And we're talking about writing copy, but I'm going to give you templates, but I want to talk to you about the strategy first. So this is a diagram that shows you the promotional pathways that need to happen for an online event. And until you actually map it out this way, and over the years, I've been doing virtual events since 2005. Over the years, I put together this flow diagram of all the different things I had to check off. And sometimes I'll print this out and I'll actually check off the things that I've done as I'm going through it. So I want to draw your attention to these 4 areas that I've highlighted. The first thing that needs to happen after you decide to have an event is one of the first things that needs to happen is to create an invitation sequence. And then you're inviting people to go to a sign-up page for your event where they can sign up, right? So if they sign up, then you want to present them with a welcome page or a confirmation page. I call it a success page. And then after they've signed up, you want to trigger a show-up sequence, an email sequence that reminds them about why they signed up to start with and reinforces the value of them showing up for your event. Again, like I said, it's not enough to just get them to sign up, especially if it's a free event. If it's a free event, people frequently sign up and they forget about it, okay, because it's free. What we found is even if you charge just a little bit, $5 even, the more the better, of course, but $5 even, people are more likely to show up. Why? Because they have commitment by paying money. All right, so what I'm going to do is so you have an email sequence here, invitation sequence, and then you have a show up sequence. I'm going to walk you through examples and give you templates. All right, let's start with the invitation sequence. So the purpose of the invitation sequence is to share the purpose and value of your event to the right guests, right potential guests, and then convert signups at a high level. So at least greater than 50%. Now, in my hands, and I'm a trained, experienced conversion copywriter, when I've done events, I usually convert around 65, 70%. In fact, at the summit, we converted at 72%, which means that 72% of the people who went from email or social media post or wherever they heard about it to the sign up page, 72% of people signed up, which is crazy good, crazy good. So I'm looking for anything greater than 50, 60%. Okay. So now I'm going to take you through some examples of emails that we use. So let me put this. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, and let me put you here. Oh, I'm going to put this in the chat as well. Let me switch screens and I'll put this in the chat as well. So I'll show you what I'm actually doing. This is an example. Let me put it in the chat so I don't forget. Okay. That is, and you'll want to label that when you grab that. So this is the invitation sequence, and I'm showing you the invitation sequence that we actually used for the summit as an example. Okay. So this is email number 1, and I'll give you a little kind of behind the scenes thinking behind the strategy here. All right. So email number 1, the subject is the power of gathering online. So that's our subject line. So the purpose of your subject line is to get people to open your email. That's it. Needs to be interesting and intriguing enough for people to open the email. The simpler, the better. If it's a super long subject line, people won't see it. All right. So, hi, as someone who is all in to find new ways to connect your community members, even in the face of COVID-sized odds, to create those meaningful relationships that are the foundation of communities and business, ... I know one thing about you. You're serious about creating amazing virtual gatherings for your guests, and that makes you very unique in our field. You see, lots of people claim to care about bringing people together and connecting them through fantastic event experiences. But the truth is, not many people are digging deep to find new ways to deliver virtual events that still have life-changing bottom-line building impact of in-person events. All right, so there's a framework here. Isn't just kind of nice words. There's actually a copywriting framework at play here. And it's called PAS, P-A-S. P stands for problem. It's in the chat. Problem, agitation, solution. This is one of a number of copywriting frameworks. This is my favorite framework. So what am I starting with? I kick off with the problem. The problem is here. Not many people are digging in to find new ways to deliver virtual events. So in other words, there's boredom. Okay? There's also another copywriting principle at play here. I'm starting out with the problem, yes, but copywriting principle number 1 is get into your reader's world. Get into your reader's world. I did that by acknowledging who they are here. I'm saying you're serious about creating amazing virtual gatherings. You're all in about finding new ways to connect with your community members in the face of COVID-sized odds. I'm getting into their world, and one of the ways I get into their world is I acknowledge the things that are going on in their world. What are the problems, issues, and challenges that they're dealing with? Okay, so I've talked about the problem. And then I start agitating the problem. How do I agitate the problem? What does it mean to agitate? It means to talk about the cost of the problem that they're dealing with. They have a problem that they need to solve. What is the cost of not solving it? What is it costing them in their business, in their lives, in their organization? What's happening in terms of frustration, fear? What's happening in terms of the risks that if they don't solve this, what's going to happen? What bad things could happen if they don't solve this? So I start rubbing it in. And I say, only a few precious individuals understand the need for pulling out the stops to make creative and imaginative events that are impactful in the lives of guests. Here's the problem, especially now when plain old video conferencing has become so mind-numbing. rubbing in the problem. In fact, most people in the events industry are settling for another session of Zoom gloom for their guests because it's easy or everyone else is doing it. And there's no way virtual events could actually make a difference. Okay, rubbing in the problem even more. And then I'm transitioning into a potential solution. Remember the framework, problem, agitate, solution. But that's not you. It is, and I put their first name in here. And amid these challenges, there are still opportunities to create life-changing moments and events online, because you know that virtual events can deliver moments that even rival, there's a typo, can deliver moments that even rival those of in-person events. I'll reread that. Because you know that virtual events can deliver moments that even rival those of in-person events. And the only way to create outstanding experiences for your people is to be way ahead of the curve in this brave new digital world. That's why we created the Remo Power of Gathering Online Summit for people like you. So this leads into the solution, gives them the specifics of the solution and why and what they'll learn. All right. So I'm providing a compelling reason why they should sign up and attend. Now, I know, you're probably saying, wow, that is a super long email. And you've probably heard this from lots of people. The copy's too long. Nobody's going to read it. People are too busy. They're not going to read it unless it's really short. Okay, great. Show me the data. You show me the data. Oh, I wouldn't read that. It's too long. Okay, that's a test of one person. A test of one person. But here's the reality. This has been tested multiple times. If you reach a person who's interested in having the problem that you're addressing solved, they will read your copy. Well, how do we know this? This has been split tested many times. And long copy, this is called long form copy, tends to win. Now, is there an appropriate place for short form copy? Absolutely. Absolutely, there's a place. What I'm telling you is don't be afraid. There's no need to be afraid of writing long copy. And yes, people will say to you, oh, it was too long, didn't read it. And you might even get somebody who emails you and says, yeah, it's too long. Can you cut it down? I've gotten emails like that. But I'm more interested in the bigger picture of larger numbers of conversions. All right. I told you my statistics for converting. When people go from this email to the sign up page for the summit, there's a 72% chance they're going to sign up. 72% chance. Okay. So with that level of statistics, and this has been consistent over the years for me, around 70% conversion, I'm sticking with long form emails. If there's an appropriate need to cut it down, I will do it. But in other words, I'm not sitting down and going, oh, I can't make this more than 500 words. I have to keep it within 250 words. I don't sit down and do that. I say, who's my audience? What's the problem they have? And how do I need to communicate with them so that they are willing to take the next step action to solve their problem? Okay. So now you have this. I sent you in the chat the actual email here, or emails, right? So I'm going to teach you a little trick. In the next document I'm going to give you templates, fill in the blank templates. But here's another trick. Take the examples that I've sent you and start putting in your own material, overwrite the text that I've written, and then make it your own. This is how I learned copywriting. I just took emails that I thought was really cool, and then I would just put in my own words, and I learned how to write the copy. David's asking, does your 72% conversion include tracking people who drop out and come back 48 hours later? So that's unique. So what the system tracks is people who are unique visitors to this page and actually convert. So yes, if people don't convert at that time and then they come back, then they will count, then that won't be a unique conversion. Okay, so Actually, so let me explain it differently. Of the people who come to this landing page, if they don't sign up, if they click and they don't sign up, that counts as a non-conversion. Okay, it counts as a person towards non-conversion, right? So what we're tracking is of all the people who visited the site, even if they visited multiple times, how many people actually click through to convert? So yes, so David, to answer your question, if people don't sign up but they come back, that counts as a non-conversion. If they come back later, it counts as a conversion, but the previous non-visit counts as a non-conversion. Okay, so really it's 72% of people of visits to that landing page, they will convert, which is still a high number or high percentage. Okay, email number 2. David, are most people converting during their first visit? I don't know. Because what I don't have in terms of analytics is how many people are repeat visitors to that page. I don't know the answer to that one. But I'm going to guess that it's majority of them are converting at the first visit because the likelihood of people coming back is relatively low if they haven't gone the first time. Now, because what happens is some people will go to the landing page to register and they go, not interested, probably won't convert. Now, if they get another email, will they go a second time and maybe convert then? Yes. But you're more likely to get them to convert the first time they go there. All right, email number 2, the Power of Gathering Online Summit. Subject line, Remo Annual Summit, Harness the Power of Gathering Online. How would you like to take your events into hyperdrive for 2021? And I've got bullet points here. Easily get more people to sign up and show up to your events. Deliver interactive content in fun and educational ways that you've never even considered. Create moments that your guests can't stop talking about. These are the few of the gems that you're going to walk away from when you attend the Power of Gathering Online Summit. So now I've used a different format here. I'm not starting with the problem. I'm using a framework called AIDA. AIDA. A-I-D-A. A equals attention. Get their attention. I equals build or keep their interest. B, build desire. And A is compel them to take action. All right, so I get their attention with these bullet points. How'd you like to take your events into hyperdrive? And then I make it interesting. Why? Because these are just a few of the gems you're going to walk away with when you attend the Power of Gathering Online Summit. And then I build desire. Hey, as a person who's all in to find ways to connect with your community, all you have to do is click the link below to save your spot. And if they go, yeah, I'm somebody who wants to connect with my community. Yes, I have challenges. Yes, I want to, it challenges because of coronavirus. Yes, I want to build meaningful relationships and I want to build community and grow my business. Yes. So here's the action to take. Click here and save your seat. That's it. AIDA. Okay, next email. Remo Annual Summit, counting down to the Power of Gathering Online. Hi, have I mentioned that yet that you're invited to be part of the Power of Gathering Online Virtual Summit of Virtual Summits? Here are the dates. Here's what you're going to learn. Our secrets for throwing online events that build excitement for brands, connections in communities, and rebuild your bottom line faster than you can say life-changing virtual events. As you already know, at this event, you'll hear the bullet points you'll learn about what you'll learn, and here's the action step. And to further entice them to take action, I'm reinforcing who they are and why they should take action. I'm telling them, this is who you are. I know who you are. You are somebody who wants to breathe life back into your business and your communities and take on the next level of online events in the face of challenges. Okay, so let me show you some templates that we use and that you can use. And let me, I'll put this in the chat as well. These are email invitation templates. These are fill in the blank templates. Okay. Template number 1. And you can pick from your subject line, or for your subject lines. Here are the formulas. Wrote down some formulas for you. By the way, I didn't do this all by myself. We have another copywriter on the team, Carl, who's helped out with these. How to blank. And the blank is fill in a highly desirable result or a consequence. Little known ways to get, and then fill in a highly desirable learning or experience from your event. Want to, and then fill in a highly desirable result, experience, or consequence of attending your event. For example, how to get more signups and show-ups at your next workshop. Little known ways to get more signups and show-ups at your next workshop. Want to get more signups and show-ups at your next workshop. By the way, when it comes to subject lines, my preference is to ask a question. Questions hook the mind. The other alternative is a statement. So statements can work. In my experience, it's easier to create an intriguing, compelling question than it is to create an intriguing, compelling statement. That being said, statements still can work. You don't have to have every single subject line be just a question. In fact, here's a statement. How to get more signups and show-ups at your next event. It's a statement, not a question. Okay, into the body. If you're struggling to, and you fill in the outcome, you're not alone. That's why we created and you insert the name of your event for people like you. Then you have some options for bullet points. Option 1, if you want to focus on what your content will be, use this option. Here's what you'll discover. Benefit 1, benefit 2, benefit 3. For example, how studying at home can boost student participation and achievement. Benefit 2, example. Easy ways to help students focus when working with webcams. Example 3. Proven techniques that spark voluntary collaboration between students, and so much more. Here's another option for your bullet points. If you want to focus on who will be speaking at your event. We'll be hosting, and you list who the speaker is and what they're going to talk about. And you just keep listing all the speakers. I like to list a minimum of 3 bullet points. You can have more bullet points than that. Little key conversion copywriting tip on bullet points. You take your top 2 bullet points and you pick out what's your number 1 most important bullet point. And you list that as the last in the list of bullet points. Why last? Because there's a recency effect. People are more likely to visually see the beginning and the end of your bullet points stacked up, of your list of bullet points, right? And because of the recency effect, they're going to see and most likely remember the last bullet point that they see. It's just how the eye works, or how our eyes scan material. The second most important bullet point, make that your first bullet point. And then you can list everything else in between. The first and the last position are the most important bullet point positions. So if this sounds like the kind of event that could, and add, you're going to insert a change or benefit that your desired guest wants. List that here. Then grab a spot. Here's your call to action. Here's the invitation to take action. All right, and then we have other templates for you for other emails. So here's what I'd like you to do. The links that I gave you prompt you to make copies of these templates so you save them on your Google Drives, all right? What I'd like you to do is either open up one of the email templates and start filling it out, or take one of the email examples and start writing over the example, all right? I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Let's see, check the time. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to start writing this first email out. Another tip, do not go for perfection on this first draft. Go as quickly as possible. Do not worry as much about spelling or grammar. Get the ideas down. The last thing you want to do, and I see this happen commonly, is people try to perfect their copy the first time they write it out. They agonize over the right words and the punctuation as they're writing the first draft. No, the first draft is intended to be a first draft. A draft means you're going to modify it. The important thing is to get it done as quickly as possible. Then you go back and revise it. Okay, so I'm going to give you 10 minutes to create your first draft of your first email invitation. Again, you either use the template I gave you or overwrite the example that I gave you. Okay, I'll start the timer now. Of course, if you have any questions, put them in the chat or raise your hand and I'll bring you up. We can talk about it. All right, take a moment to wrap up. And I had this great idea. We have a small enough group, I can bring everybody up here so we can all talk at the same time. So I've invited you to come up here on the stage, and that way we can talk and give feedback. I'm curious to hear how things went. How far did you get? What kind of challenges you had? If you have questions. How'd it go, John?
Slow. It went slow, but I actually was following the example email and
Okay.
kind of filling in, started filling in, I should say.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So practice makes faster in general, not always, but as you practice this, you'll get faster at it.
Well, I found myself, I just kind of started writing instead of having a conclusion in mind, a definitive goal. And so it was kind of evolving as I was writing. And so
that's okay too.
Process. Sorry, I have to shut the door. The kids are.
Let me show you another trick of what I do. Well, I recommend starting with a template, but another thing that I'll do when I'm writing, I'll show you my screen. And this is if I don't like to start from scratch actually, but if I have to, I'll write down like, who is this for? Okay. What is the purpose of this email? Okay. Then I'll write down subject line. And then for the body, I'll just write down what's the problem. And how do I agitate? And then what's the solution? Okay, and then what I do here is I make these bold, and then I start filling things in with even bullet points or sentence fragments or ideas. And then I'll come back later and I'll delete these subheads because these are just placeholders. Okay. So, and sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to say, but I would say and I'll do this. Tell them about how much fun they will have. Okay. And obviously, I'm not going to say that in the email, but this is what I want to say. I want to tell them about how much fun they'll have. I'll write down what I want to say before I write down how I want to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This frequently helps to open up the writing. Okay. So yeah. Did anybody finish their email?
Well, I want to ask, before I answer that question.
Yeah.
You just did PAS. I understand the A is to accentuate, aggravate slightly the problem. Okay. But then in the email template that I'm filling out, I don't see any P or A or S. I just see benefits or people. Either highlight the benefits or highlight the people. Maybe I should scroll farther down because I'm still at that section now. Oh, I see. There's another template. Wow, there's too many templates.
Lots of templates.
Yeah. There are three, right? In that other.
There are three.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So, but the templates don't seem to follow the PAS format, or do they? Can you just?
Well, sometimes they follow ADA: attention, interest, desire, action.
Okay.
And these copywriting frameworks, you don't have to follow them like concrete. As you get better at it, you start changing up the flow. But PAS is pretty straightforward. Problem, agitate, solution.
Right.
Now I have a variation of PAS. I call it PAGS. Problem, agitate, general solution, and then my specific solution.
Okay, PAGS.
PAGS.
PAGS. That's good.
That's actually where I ended up starting to go.
Yeah, I do that.
That is very good. To sell financial products and insurances, which are essentially financial products, that's the format they use a lot. They deliberately frustrate you and aggravate you to make you feel uncomfortable while they're offering a solution. And then after enough discomfort, the solution is easy to sign for.
Absolutely.
Write a check, get rid of it. Hey, let's all smile again.
Make people uncomfortable.
A little bit at the right time. So it's true. You start off with happiness. You move to something else. It's not as happy.
Yep. I'm going to give you another tip. And I'm not going to go over this. I just want you to have this. This is an invitation countdown email sequence. So as you get closer to your event, you want to remind people who've not registered yet. I'm going to mute you, David. Who've not registered yet to sign up. Give them a last chance to sign up. So we call it a countdown sequence. This goes, so you want to segment your emails and send this only to people who've not registered yet. Okay? So I'm giving you the emails that we actually used for the summit. You can overwrite them, use them as inspiration, or overwrite them and create your own. Okay? I want to go on to this next section here. Let me share my screen. Okay, so the next thing in our sequence of the flow of people registering is event sign up page. And we could create a whole workshop just on sign up pages, but I just want to give you a few pointers. This is what the sign up page looked like. One, have an attractive title, Power of Gathering Online. Took a while to come up with that title. We played with other titles and got some feedback, and then eventually settled on Power of Gathering Online. Made an interesting, fun little tagline, hang out with intergalactic movers and shakers of the online event galaxy. Yes, we could have been corporate sterile and said, hey, come gather with, learn from the world's best experts in online events. We could have said that, and that could have probably worked, but we wanted to have a little fun with it and lighten it up instead of it being heavy and serious. Excuse me. So, interesting title to your event and accentuate it with a tagline. The other key elements on our event sign-up page that matter are a section for why attend. Why should I attend? Why is it? What's in it for me? Why should I attend? What can I expect to learn? If I take time out of my busy day to attend, what are you guaranteeing that I'm going to learn? And then finally, what's in it for me? So give me the benefits of what I'm going to take away, highlight them, even if you've mentioned them earlier. This section, think of it as, what will I miss if I don't attend? What will I miss if I don't attend? Next part. So the confirmation page. This is commonly underutilized. The confirmation page appears after I've successfully signed up. I say I'm in. Okay? Now, I want people to take a specific action from this confirmation page. I want to make it easier for them to show up. I have added an add to calendar button. Many of you probably clicked on this. And what it does when you click on it, it will add this event, including the link to the event, the Remo link, will get added to your calendar. If you have to rely on people taking this email and copying and pasting into their calendar, you're going to lose a bunch of people. I don't know what the percentage is, but you're going to lose a bunch of people. One click button makes a difference. At the bottom of this page, we gave people an opportunity to buy recordings. If for some reason they couldn't attend live or they want to review. So we give them an opportunity to get the recordings, and we give them an opportunity, an invitation to join the Remo Summit, Remo Revolution.
Yeah, I'm impressed by that. The fact that you would dare it, because most organizers give it either all for free or they charge a single price, and you've separated that out and you've made it part of, even though there's the risk, the more steps, there's more risk.
There's more risk. And in general, I agree, David. So in general, you only want to list one call to action in general. But we broke the rules on purpose.
Well, I can see where you're breaking rules, but I know why. Just like you said, the long copy is breaking rules. But sometimes I've been very successful with a longer copy, and it works.
If they've purchased the recordings, this is the second confirmation page they get. Thanks for signing up for the summit and purchasing the recordings. Here's a reminder, another add to calendar button. And then the real call to action is join our community. The summit grew our community by over 500 people. We're now approaching, we're just under 1,000 people in the community. When we started the summit, we were around 350 or so. No, sorry, we were around 400.
Oh, so that means some of the people I saw yesterday were all some of those brand new community people. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Well, I have to warn you that obviously, I'm sure you know, when a lot of newcomers come into any group, the quality level shrinks drastically. It goes down.
It does.
So
that's why we have a private subgroup called the Remo Superhost community.
Right, but I was underwhelmed when I was put into networking random tables. Everyone who was new was kind of evasive and talking about other things and asking me about my neck scarf and doing other questions rather than talking about
that's one of the challenges of community building.
Yeah, but I have a suggestion for you. It seems we're relatively by ourselves. Are you recording this?
Not by ourselves. We have people who have not come up on stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a mechanism to channel feedback and thinking. It orients thought. And I think I showed this yesterday, Huang, and you might have been there when I showed this. 3 things in sequence. First, a hashtag. Next, a heart. Next, a delta or triangle or a question mark. The third one is obviously all the queries, questions, concerns, feedback about improvements.
David, with all due respect, let me pause you there. If we have time at the end, let's do this special add-on. I need to take people through what was guaranteed for the curriculum for today.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that.
Thank you. All right. So the next thing I want to show you is this event online show up sequence. Super, super important. When I first started doing online events, I didn't know this. I didn't know. I thought, oh, my job's over. I got people to sign up. No, your job's half over or a third over. First third is get people to sign up. Second third is to get people to show up. The final third is you have to produce an outstanding, memorable, awesome event experience. Okay? So, online event show up sequence. Let me give you, before I forget, let me give you the template. Or sorry, the example. I'll put this in the chat. Event show up email sequence. Okay. So the purpose of the show up sequence is to encourage your guests to show up to your event by reinforcing the reasons why they signed up to start with. Okay, now what does this look like? And I'm sure you got some of these. But now we have a different context. So because now you're the writer, you're the author. So let me share my screen. This is the show up sequence we used for the summit. Here. Okay. And hang on one sec. David, I'm just going to have you come off the stage here. Okay, good. So email number 1. So we have a when to send it, who it goes to, what it's for, and then I have a subject line. Supercharge your events for 2021. So now, if you don't care about supercharging your events, you won't open this email. But if that's attractive to you, supercharge your events for 2021, you will open this, right? Thanks for registering for the Power of Gathering Online Summit. You did a smart thing. You did a smart thing. I'm telling them you're a smart person. You did a smart thing. because the virtual events world is about to get very competitive in 2021. Yeah, you know this. Not telling anything you didn't know already. New technologies are surfacing monthly. Innovations in running virtual events are happening every day, and new insights into how people can make authentic connections virtually are being discovered at almost every online event. And if you're competing in this world by yourself, it can be overwhelming. So this is a problem. But trying to do it alone is a mistake. That's agitating the problem, because there's this thing about innovation. It doesn't happen from scratch. Innovators connect far-flung ideas to form new concepts, and they understand that progress is fastest by making 1% improvements to what already works rather than breaking down a whole system and starting over. So we're agitating, but we're also hinting at a solution. So as we head into a time of hyper-evolution in the world of virtual events, it's more important than ever to be able to hear and see what others are doing, so that we can collectively push the limits of what's possible. Collectively push the limits of what's possible. If this is attractive to you, you'll keep reading and you'll take the call to action. If you don't care about pushing the limits of what's possible, you'll stop reading and you won't show up to the summit. That's exactly what we'll be doing at the Power of Gathering Online Summit. You'll be able to plug directly into the minds of our roster of speakers who are thought leaders and practical innovators from all over the world and spread across many different industries. They'll be sharing their insights and experiential demonstrations of what what they're having success with right now. Success right now. So if your goals are to accelerate your business or impact your organization in 2021 with virtual events, the most crucial next step you can take is to be at the Power of Gathering Online Summit. Again, reinforcing, why should you show up? Why should you make this a priority? Don't assume, you cannot assume that just because they signed up, oh, they'll show up, they signed up. They even put it in their calendar. No, you've got to reinforce the value. You have to counteract our short-term distracted memories. Put it in your calendar, set your alerts. You can't afford to miss this. Reinforcing the date and time. Okay, and we say this is going to be a game changer. Email number 2. So wait, a question may come up. How many of these do I need to send out? Okay, so we recommend you send out a minimum of 3 reminders. You could send more. You could send 5. You could send 7. You don't want to overdo it, but we send for reminders, especially for big events, anywhere from 3 to 5. Our sequence, so in terms of timing, we'll send a reminder. So when they first sign up, they get a welcome email, right? That acknowledges they signed up for the event. But as we get closer to the event, we like to send out a reminder 3 to 5 days out, another reminder the day before, and then another reminder the morning of. Sometimes we'll send 2 reminders the morning of. Here's another example. Subject line, Remo Summit, remember your first, or this could be a first. So I usually write down a number of subject lines and I'll pick one. Do you remember your first pet? First best friend, the first time you rode a bike by yourself? Some moments in life can make such an impact that they are etched into our memories for life. Unfortunately, as we get older, fewer of these vivid, unique first experiences stay with us forever. The good news is, if you haven't used Remo before, you have another great first to look forward to very soon. Now, I'm not saying that using Remo for the first time is going to measure up to your first kiss, but I will say that you're in for a treat. You're going to experience firsthand, and these are bullet points that I've already mentioned elsewhere and that show up in some shape or form on the sign-up page. All the different ways that Remo can impact a virtual event experience with surprising and delightful possibilities. I don't want to give away too much here, so a little bit of intrigue and a cliffhanger. An assortment of interactive experiences as our guest speakers show what's going to be possible for your events in 2021. Mingling and networking with all the other guests and speakers between sessions, you'll enjoy chance encounters as you move from table to table, floor to floor, and even building to building. And on day 2 of the summit, you'll even have the chance to experience a unique twist on virtual entertainment, which will feel so very real. So if you came to day 2 of the summit, you recall we had by Dr. Clue, we had an escape room. We had a virtual escape room on Remo. Here's the reminder of what they've signed up for. Oh, and then here I've added a PS. This will be a virtual event unlike anything you've seen before. We actually have virtual tables and chairs where you can sit down and rub shoulders with other guests and our guest speakers. And then we give them a little infographic to make it easier for them to get into Remo and use Remo. And by looking at this, the intention is that they look at it and go, wow, I can do this. Wow, that looks really interesting. Wow, I better show up. Here's a little 1-pager on how to navigate in Remo. Email number 3, subject line, not your grandpa's virtual event platform. Hey there, add the first name. The other day, you made a very smart decision to join the Power of Gathering online summit, but you might not realize what you've let yourself in for. And you need to know so that you're using the right hardware when you join the event. You see, Remo is definitely not your average Zoom experience. Remo crams a 3D virtual building into a 2D virtual environment, and that's just the beginning. You're going to be arriving in an event building. You might even find yourself waiting in the lobby before the event kicks off. When you enter the event building, you'll be able to move from table to table to mix and mingle with people, and you can even go and check out other floors in the same building. There's only up to 100 people on a floor in case you're a power mingler. You're also going to experience people dropping by your table, an unparalleled presentation mode, and sensational custom floor plans. Now, at the time, our mobile experience wasn't that great, so we said your cell phone or tablet isn't going to be able to contain all the excitement of Remo, so make sure you log in either on a desktop or laptop. Now, our mobile experience since then has improved significantly, so we would probably change this and say, hey, if you're on the go, feel free to use your cell phone or tablet. While we don't have an app, we have a good browser-based experience on mobile. Probably what we would say. It's all happening tomorrow. Oh, you also need a mic and cam to participate in the fun. It's all happening tomorrow, so get your hardware ready for 2 days of wow, because virtual events are never going to be the same again. That's our promise. Come to the Remo Summit. You'll learn things that make virtual events never the same again. Okay, and then we repeat the PS from the previous day. And then, yes, you can see as we got closer to the event. So this is with 3 hours to go. This is where we have a short email. 3 hours to go, pogo. Just a quick check-in to make sure you have the summit locked into your schedule. Here's the login information. And then right after the event starts, so 10 minutes after the event started, we say, hey, if you're not already there, we're waiting for you. Come on and discover how virtual events are going to be different in 2021. Okay, so those are your show up emails. So what I'm going to have you do, one, let's see if there are any questions. And what I'm going to have you do is I want you to write at least one show up email. And I put the link to your these examples I just went through in the chat. So start working on that. I'll give you, let's see, I'll give you 15 minutes to work on this version. All right. David has a good question. How many of us are surprised? How many of us know this, that many signups do not end up attending and participating? In general, 20 to 25% of people who sign up will actually show up for a virtual event. Now, there are exceptions. The exceptions are if people have paid. If it's a paid attendance, your show up rates are going to be upwards of 60, 70, 80, even 90%. Okay? If it's a celebrity, more likely people are going to show up. Not all of them will show up, but more likely. Okay? So these are statistics I recommend you track so you can see the trends. You can see your trends, not somebody else's trends, but your trends. Okay, I will set the timer for 15 minutes and go to work. All right. So go ahead and wrap up. I'm curious to hear how it went. Oh, and by the way, I posted into the chat, I posted a resource document that consolidates all the examples and templates, and that link to that is in the chat. Okay, so this is what we covered today. Covered a lot of ground, important ground. We covered the online event invitation sequence. We covered the online event sign-up page. We covered the online event confirmation page, and we just worked on the online event show-up sequence. I'm curious to hear how it went in terms of writing. And if anybody would like to share their example, we can take a look. You don't have to, but if you're up for it, we can take a look. All right. No takers on sharing examples. I get it. So are there any questions about the strategy, the rationale behind the sequence that I'm showing on screen? Are there any questions about constructing the email? In general, it's take the examples, take other examples that you find, use the templates, play with them. It really is a matter of practicing writing copy that converts. What I've done today is shared a few of the principles there that I found useful in terms of writing copy that converts. There are obviously more advanced things to learn, but at a very fundamental level, you've got what you need to develop a solid foundation for your invitation email sequences, your sign up and confirmation pages, and your show up email sequences. If there are no questions, then I'm going to come out of presentation mode. I'll let you hang out a little bit more at the tables, and we will wrap up.